Hello guys, this is, I think, the last sales training that will be shot in 2015. There may be one more. If there isn't, I will try to make note of that, and I apologize for being wrong. I'm going to try to go quickly today, and I may fail because, as you know, I take a lot of pauses in how I communicate and everything else. But I've had a situation come up a number of times in the last month. And in trying to train people, and I had a guy actually ask me last night, he said, what book did you get that from? Where can I go and read? And where can I learn more on what you're talking about? And I realized it wasn't there. So for what it's worth, this is probably, to my knowledge, the most unique thing I'm going to teach you. And if I do it correctly, and hopefully I will catch your attention, I think this is quite probably not only the most unique, but the most important and the most valuable sales training class I will ever teach. So if it's not, I failed, period, because the information is that important, and I hope I fly through it correctly. There is even an outside chance this is so valuable that if I do teach another class in a couple weeks, I may cover the same material again and do an old, that was the first draft, here's the second. But here's where I want to go. And I'm going to pre-warn you, this gets confusing. People get lost and so mentally tied to gender labels that they can't separate where I'm going, and I really need you to. What we're discussing today is communication, and we are specifically discussing sales communication. And to a certain level, maybe we just coined a new phrase. Sales communication. Sales communication is feminine. Period. Sales communication is feminine. It is not masculine. Now, here's my thing. You gotta lose male and female off that. That's bizarre. Bob, how can you say that? Because it fits, and I need you to stay with the feminine, masculine for a middle path, but you have to not think male. I am not in a million years trying to say that what you sell is women. Not at all. And I'm not trying to say in a million years that only women can be salespeople, not men. Absolutely not at all. I'm saying that sales communication as a flow of communication is the feminine side. To do my best, and I wish I had this perfectly labeled, but I'm just going to kind of hit bullet points. How does a man, what's the old symbol, communicate? A man communicates by deeds. A man's communication is goals, results, action, whatever you want to call it. I was telling one guy, I said, what's the quintessential male? What do we love? We love those movies where that guy's sitting there and he's just this perfect state of just calm, and he's doing nothing, and all of a sudden and he jumps up and whoosh, done, and then he goes right back to that state. You know, those cool kung fu type movies, or space action, and there's the defender and nothing moves, but the second there's a threat, it's like lightning and superhero power and crushes, and once it's done, instantly to the state of calm, because that is the perfect male. We see that guy, and dudes, that is cool, that is awesome. If you disagree, I don't care. You get my point, hopefully. I'm not trying to hammer an absolute fact here. We love that character. We love that guy, because how do we communicate? By do. How do we communicate? We do. How do we tell our wife we love her? We provide. How do we tell our children we care? We get there. We make it. We show up. We put it forth. Are we maybe not happy? Are we maybe not joyful? Are we maybe not who cares? We did. We hit the goal. No matter what it costs us emotionally, we did it. Men communicate by points. You want us to be happy. You want us to get there. Give us a task. Set the blind, set the point, done. We don't want to care about the middle, we don't flow, done, pop, 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 pop. We don't need to talk to you and hear about the game plan. We, to use an old metaphor statement I always loved, give me the baby, not the birth. Men, when they show up at the hospital, they're like, great, oh, it's so good, oh, love, yeah, it's wonderful. And we're nice people. I'm not talking about the caveman, but it's, oh, show me the baby. This is so always so beautiful. This is great. You know what we don't want? We don't want you to sit there holding the baby in your lap and explain in extreme detail all the details of the birth and everything, and then afterwards the reveal, and we get, ugh. Why? Because we don't care about those issues. I could go for 1,000,000 years here. And there's a lot of stuff. And am I oversimplifying? Absolutely. I'm trying to get a quick point too. Feminine communication is connectedness. And if that is not a word, I'm glad I made it up. And if it is a word and I misspelled it, that's just me and I apologize. They are, if a man's communication is a line with point A and point B and however many points you want to put in the middle, a woman's communication is a circle. There is no point A, there is no point B, and if you want to say A is the center and B is here, then B is the clock and it's always moving, because it is about interconnectedness. It's about relationships, and it's about feelings and emotions. And you know why feelings and emotions matter? Feelings and emotions matter because they're how this connects to this. If they're trying to get from A to B, it's not a straight line. A is B to here, but the way you get to B, what connects them, what the spokes are, what keeps them from falling down and being a bizarro wheel that doesn't work with the spoke up, the hub up here and the wheel there, is the feelings, the emotions. It's about the relationships. It's about staying in touch. It's about letting know. For example, man has to go here and use me. You come to me and we're supposed to be at this point and it goes wrong. My reaction, I don't want to hear what went wrong. I don't want to hear your excuse. I want to hear your play. I'm going to blow the frig up. I'm going to lose my temper and I'm going to be Mount Vesuvius, because we had a purpose and we had a point and we had a plan. I don't want to care how you failed. Once we're done chewing you out for the horrible mistake, I want you to come to me with where you're going to do to fix it. Absolute facts, details, line, point, point, point. Anything else and you're wasting my absolute time. The feminine communication, and I'm not insulting women, I cannot stress this enough, guys. You cannot get lost on, oh, he hates women, oh, he hates men. This is a feminine, masculine style of communication, not a sex, what your gender is orientation. And I know it's hard to break there, but you got to do it for me, because there's no man that communicates only masculine, there's no woman that communicates only feminine, and there are many women that are mainline communication masculine, many men that mainline communication feminine. I need you to stay with the others. Sorry, but I had to jump in there for a minute. The woman's communication isn't as concerned with the result as the journey. Junior comes home and is crying. Mom's result is not going to be, Dad, suck it up, quit whining, pull yourself together. No, mom's going to be nurturing and calming him. What happened? What was the tragedy? Oh, how can I help? And isn't going to give the answer. Isn't going to be, next time that kid pushes you down, get up and punch him in the, no. It's going to be, baby, it's all right. And it's going to give caring and love, because it's about connections. It's about relationship. And if you got there and failed, well, what happened? Oh, that's because what matters is the journey. What matters is the path. What matters is we're there. I can forgive any failure in the feminine as long as I'm kept in the loop and understanding. Now, I can't forgive the failure of, hey man, I just didn't want to do it, so I didn't. We have no connection here. But if you in the feminine can explain to me what happened, and I can relate, and I can see where you did your best, and I know it was your full effort, And yes, we're going to come up with a plan together for how to fix it. But it's that you stayed with me, that you let me know what was going on, that you stayed there. You want to know what the wife in this marriage thing cares most about? Not husband, did you pay the bills? But husband, how are we doing? And if we're not going to pay the bills, what's your stresses? What's killing you? How can I help? Because I need it to be us. I need it to be a relationship. I need to have the bond. I don't want to go broke. I don't want to lose our house. That'd be horrible. I'm not saying that, but we got to be together. We got to flow together. We got to communicate together because it's about connectiveness. Whereas the man in that marriage, it's about providing. It's about hitting the goal. If I feel short, it destroys him inside, and he even doesn't want to talk about it more. But now we're getting to marital counseling stuff, although there is value to that because it goes the other. I probably made my point. I hope I flowed. Maybe I should have stayed defining this a little bit more. But my point that I'm doing all this about, the thing I cannot stress enough, is in sales, the client could care less about A to B. The client wants to know what the heck is going on. The client wants to be touched base with. The client that hadn't signed yet, you call. Why do you call? So they remember you. Why do you want to remember you? Because you're connecting. Facebook, I hate Facebook, despise Facebook. My gosh, why is it alive? Blech. Okay? I'm bizarrely male on Facebook. Average man, caveman steps onto Facebook. He's going to look and he's going to go, wasn't that neat? And you want to know what he's looking for? He's going to get a pop-up from the girl he went to high school with, and he's going to go, oh, she wants to have an affair. Oh, well, I'm better. I'm not going to come. That's the joke about Facebook's for having an affair, because that's the message. Why else would I go on there? There has to be a purpose. Why in heaven's name is the caveman going on Facebook other than what is my purpose? If I am here, what am I conquering? What am I killing? What am I achieving? Done. The female side loves Facebook. Loves it. Has a blast. And not in a bad way, not in a vulgar way, not in a cool way. Because it fits the nature. Because it is connecting. What's on Facebook? Little friends that I don't have the time to stay in touch with. As much as I would want to, I just don't. I get to. Because I can glance at my phone and pop, yeah, oh, isn't that neat? Oh, Junior, oh, that was, hey, yeah, I like that. Hey, that's sweet. Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah, and hey, it's cool. I wouldn't have known to pray for you if you hadn't told me that. I wouldn't have known that you had this need. I wouldn't have known to just put out warm thoughts and love and feelings for your grandma. Hey, and able to send a little, and let me tell you something else. You want to know something cool and going with the caveman? It's fun to get a note from 50 people you haven't physically sat down and talked to in the last 10 years telling you happy birthday. It makes you feel good for a minute. There is great beauty to that feminine side, and that is what Facebook is. Facebook is the core nature of feminine contact. Jumping back into this for a minute. In sales communication, why do you follow up? It's the Facebook of it. It is just staying in touch. It's just keeping them remembering you're there. Because when people are making a buying decision, they're a deer being lured out of the woods. They have to feel safe. They have to feel secure. They have to have, and it may take, I can't tell you the number of connections that are necessary for that to happen. But every one of them matters. You will have a client that's in the middle of the sales process. They've already committed to you. And man, you are killing it. You are just, you are loading it up with details and facts. And you have been killing yourself. Every day you're putting in 10 hours a day on this one client. And I mean, my gosh, it's just, what you're doing. And you know at the end, you're going to have the magic book, and it's just going to be awesome. They don't know. And if they don't know, they don't care. You have to be sending them updates. Hey, this is what I got today. This is where we are there. Oh, this is looking good. Hey, I'm working on these things. I just want you to make sure you know, because it's about the connectivity. It's about the relationship. It's about going there. I'll tell you something bizarre. I have had, and I'm ashamed to admit this, but I've had immoral and unethical, terrible employees that made it forever, that the clients loved and adored all the way to the very end. You know why? Because it was an employee that had learned years ago, and they're misleading people, that as long as I stayed in contact with the client, even if it's a lie, they would never get mad, and they would always love me and always forgive me, because what they care more about is not the book at the end, it's the development of the novel as it's going. I get afraid if I'm not talking to me. I get afraid if it's not there. To use that old marriage thing, to go back into it for a second, and I'm going to use blatant stereotypes. Does the wife want to starve and lose the house and go? Absolutely not. But the less she knows about what's going on, the greater her fear. What she needs is the communication. What she needs is to know, because there's no flow. Same on the other. If the husband that's in the hospital, you got to have communication. What's wrong? What's happening? How are we doing? What's our plan? What's our process? It's about communication. It's about connectedness. Sales, from the very first lead to 20 years after and getting referrals, is about the steady flow of information communication. If you haven't spoken to your client, shoot them a note. And guys, God bless us. Beauty of America, beauty of technology. Praise be to the Facebooks of the world. You don't have to sit down at your desk, organize your pen and paper, turn on your computer, review your computer, load your database, find the phone number, set the appropriate note, make the call, have a formal conversation, hang it up, close out for every call. You can grab your little cell phone and shoot Jim and Nancy Wilson a quick text. You can shoot them a quick little Facebook note, a LinkedIn, a Twitter, whatever. Hey, Jim and Nancy, just want to let you know, still working on bids. Haven't forgotten you. Anything I can do to help. Pow! Done. 15 seconds. My lands. Copy it and save it and just hit send B. I mean, but stay in touch. And you do. And guess what? If you're a good salesperson, you care about people. And when they shoot you back, yeah, I need help. It's like, thank goodness they shot me a note. Because otherwise I wouldn't have known. Why? Because I am the masculine brain that's going along the timeline versus the feminine brain, which is going around the wheel. Force yourself to do the wheel, because sales is feminine. Sales is connectedness. Sales is communication. I will end with this part, and it's hopefully just one last shot trying to make an example. I, Bob Braudrick, have a huge sales weakness. I always have. I stink at referrals. And you want to know why? Because once it's done, boom, goal's over. I don't stay in contact. I don't keep those connections. I don't keep those relations, to my disgrace and my shame and my utter stupidity. The amount of money I have to pay in marketing to keep the pipeline always flowing, that I could have cut probably by 2/3 years ago if I just kept those connections flowing. I don't know that I'll ever fully overcome it. I think it goes back to sports. Game's over, done. You know what you do when the game's over? You shake their hand, you move to the next. Season's over, done. I don't sit there and debate football and wonder about it and work on a football body. My lands, it's wrestling season. Wrestling's over, I don't sit there. It's time for baseball. Baseball's over, my lands, it's time for football. And guess what? I can't remember ever having, well, what do we do for the 3 weeks in between? That doesn't happen. You're always starting behind because the seasons rolled over each other. The just baseball kids have got a head start on you. You got to dump the one and jump to the next. That, my friends, is a very masculine mentality. All is good. There's nothing wrong. There's absolutely the place for the masculine in sales. Closing is masculine. For those of you that cannot get lost in the man versus the woman, and you men of gender that are getting your feelings hurt from that, closing is the masculine. But sales, and especially sales communication, the most important element is absolute feminine in its communication. I cannot stress this enough. I will hopefully teach more on this in the future. I hope you got something out of this, because might be one of the biggest, most important I will ever teach. And if I didn't help you, if I didn't give you info, then I apologize profusely, because shame on me. Guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.